When rescuer Sarah found Buddy, he was hours from death. Emaciated, afraid, and alone. His story seemed over. But this isn't a story about despair. It's about the incredible power of a second chance. This is the journey of how a broken soul found his way home. It was a cold Tuesday morning when Sarah got the call. A local resident reported what they thought was a whimpering sound coming from an old construction site near a concrete drain pipe. As an experienced rescuer with the city's largest no-kill shelter, Sarah was used to tough situations, but nothing could have truly prepared her for what she was about to find. I've seen a lot of things in this job, but when I saw Buddy in that drain pipe, my heart just broke. He was so weak he couldn't even bark. He was just a pile of bones and matted fur, curled up as small as he could make himself. It was like he was trying to disappear. His eyes, they were just empty. There was no light left in them. The team worked quickly but gently. The drain pipe was narrow and slick with mud. Every movement was a risk. Buddy was too weak to move on his own, and too terrified to understand they were there to help. Any sudden noise made him flinch. It was a delicate operation, inching him out, trying not to cause him any more pain or fear. We didn't know if he'd make it through the night. The ride to the animal hospital was the longest 10 minutes of my life. I just kept talking to him, telling him he was a good boy and that he was safe now. I wasn't sure if he could even hear me. The first 48 hours were critical. The vet team, led by Dr. Michael, worked tirelessly. Buddy was severely dehydrated, malnourished, and suffering from a serious skin infection. His body temperature was dangerously low. He was placed on an IV drip for fluids and nutrients, wrapped in heated blankets. He didn't move, he didn't make a sound. He just lay there, a fragile life hanging by a thread. The road to recovery was long. Buddy faced infection, fear, and the challenge of learning that not all humans are bad. His physical wounds healed relatively quickly, all things considered. We got the infection under control, and with proper nutrition, he started to gain a little weight. That was the easy part. The psychological trauma, however, was severe. We were dealing with a profound lack of trust. He would cower at the back of his kennel if anyone approached. He wouldn't eat if someone was in the room. Any hand reaching towards him would send him into a trembling panic. It was a classic sign of severe neglect and likely abuse. Healing the mind is often harder than healing the body. Sarah made it her personal mission. Every day, she would just sit outside his kennel, talking to him in a soft, calm voice. She never tried to force contact. She just let him get used to her presence. After a week, she moved to sitting just inside the kennel door. A few days later, she placed a small bowl of high-value food, like boiled chicken, a few feet away from her. The first time he took a step towards that bowl while I was in there, I had to hold my breath. It was such a tiny, hesitant step, but it felt like a giant leap. He snatched a piece and darted back to his corner, but he did it. That was the first flicker of hope I saw. From there, it was all about patience. I would sit on the floor, slowly offering him food from my hand, patiently waiting. Some days he would take it, other days he'd just stare. There was no rushing him. He had to learn at his own pace that my hand meant kindness, not harm. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, tentatively, Buddy began to change. The first time he wagged his tail was a tiny, almost imperceptible twitch. The entire clinic staff celebrated. Then came the first time he leaned into Sarah's touch instead of flinching away. He started to learn what toys were, tentatively batting at a soft ball. His empty eyes began to show a spark of curiosity, a glimmer of the dog he was always meant to be. He still had his fears. Loud noises would send him hiding, and he was wary of strangers. But he was healing. He was learning to be a dog again. After 3 months of intensive care and rehabilitation, Buddy was ready for his next chapter. Then came the Smiths. The Smith family, Mark, Maria, and their 2 children, 10-year-old Lily and 12-year-old Tom, had recently lost their beloved senior dog of 14 years. Their house felt empty, and they knew they were ready to open their hearts and home again. They weren't looking for a puppy. They wanted to give a second chance to a dog that really needed one. We saw his picture online and just felt a connection. The shelter had been very honest in his profile about his history and his shyness. It didn't scare us away. It actually drew us in. We knew we had the quiet home and the patience he would need. When we met him, he was shy, but I felt this gentle soul in him. He hid behind Sarah at first, but he kept peeking out at us. He didn't bark or growl, he just watched. The first meeting was carefully orchestrated. The family sat on the floor in a quiet room at the shelter, letting Buddy approach them on his own terms. Lily had brought one of her favorite soft toys. She didn't try to give it to him, she just quietly rolled it a few feet in his direction. After a few minutes of intense watching, Buddy took a hesitant step forward, sniffed the toy, and then looked right at Lily. It was a moment of connection. Over the next 2 weeks, the Smiths visited every other day. Each visit, Buddy's confidence grew. He started to allow Mark to gently stroke his back. He'd let the kids sit near him. The day he licked Maria's hand, everyone knew it was a perfect match. The transition to his new home was gradual. Sarah brought Buddy over for a short visit first, then for a longer one. Finally, the day came for him to stay. The family had set up a cozy, quiet corner for him with a soft bed, a safe space where he could retreat if he felt overwhelmed. The first few days were an adjustment. He spent a lot of time in his bed, just observing. But the Smiths gave him space. They never forced interactions. They'd just go about their day, talking to him gently, tossing a treat his way now and then. The real breakthrough happened about a week in. Mark was sitting on the couch reading, and Buddy, all on his own, walked over, put his head on Mark's lap, and sighed. It was a sigh of contentment, of finally being home. From that day on, Buddy blossomed. He discovered the joy of a backyard, running in circles until he was dizzy. He learned that the crinkle of a treat bag was the best sound in the world. He started initiating play with Lily and Tom, bringing them his favorite squeaky toy. He found his spot on the couch, right between Mark and Maria, where he could get double the belly rubs. The dog who was once too scared to eat was now a happy, goofy, loving member of the family. Buddy's story is a reminder that every animal deserves a chance at happiness. His journey from a cold, dark drainpipe to a warm, loving couch wasn't just about survival. It's a testament to the resilience of the animal spirit and the profound impact of human kindness. It's about hope, resilience, and the power of adoption. For everybody, there are thousands of other animals in shelters waiting for their own second chance. They may be scared, they may be overlooked, but underneath it all, they are just waiting for someone to see their true, gentle soul. If you're inspired by Buddy's journey, consider adopting from your local shelter or rescue organization. If you can't adopt, consider volunteering your time or making a donation. Every little bit helps create more happy endings. The organization that saved Buddy relies on support from people like you. Together, we can give more pets a second chance to find their forever home. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with us. If it touched something in your heart, stay a while, subscribe and like the video for more gentle journeys every week. This is Heartbeam, where emotion finds its echo.